I found that Marbled Monday and another tag that I invented for the RSA, Frame Friday, they tend to get the most interaction, which is really interesting. On other platforms, I also sort of began to beef up the Facebook and Twitter accounts. Although I haven't yet convinced the RSA to establish a Tumblr, as the possibility of long-form posts is intimidating to an organization short on manpower. I've been trying to more actively cover RSA events, therefore allowing people to follow along with them digitally. And I've also been able to feature more items from the collections. On Twitter, I participated in the Museum Week tag, along with other galleries and museums around the world. So not only was this a collaborative thing, it helped lift us up as well to show that we were worthy of participating in something like this. It's also helped me to improve my Twitter skills, which I struggled with before working at the RSA because it's such a short form. But here's an example of a Museum Week post. Every day there was a different theme that you would do, and this day's theme was architecture. So I highlighted part of our building. It's difficult to truly measure the value of social media for institutions. As an individual, I enjoy watching the likes roll in when I make a new post, as well as watching my follower count rise. But things can get messy when trying to quantify or even find some of the numbers. Likes and comments don't always reflect the true number of people reached. As most platforms keep track of posts that users have liked in the past, some people curate their likes and therefore may not like every post that catches their eye if it doesn't conform to their personal theme. This lack of hard data can put off people at the top. So it's important to focus on the fact that social media is a way to connect physical and digital spaces and a way to get people involved and interested. So to conclude, just a few key things from my social media story and my experience. Social media requires enthusiasm, commitment, and stability. There are many nuances and informal codes of content for each social media platform, but there are a few golden rules across all of them. First of all is quality over quantity. Users don't want to be flooded with content for content's sake, or simple promotions for events. Make your posts meaningful, put some thought into them, and they'll make more impact than multiple vapid promotions. Second of all, it's important to maintain your presence, as long periods of time between posts can have a negative impact on your follower account. People might assume that your account's no longer active. Tumblr has a queuing system which can help with this issue, but Instagram does not, so it might be helpful to write out a number of posts ahead of time. Finally, be friendly. Most people use social media as an escape, and wading through swathes of academic text to get to the meat of a post is not exactly relaxing. Remember, social media is not an academic journal. Use of a more informal tone is often preferred and sometimes encouraged. The goal of running social media accounts is to bring people in, not intimidate them. You can catch more flies with honey. By being somewhat informal, you encourage people to interact with you more, and therefore they give you a better gauge on what content they enjoy and what they don't. Finally, again, it's really important to remember that social media is a two-way street. It's not only a promotional tool, but it's a way for you to learn about your patrons, and perhaps more importantly, a way for them to learn about you. It's a way of injecting personality into a library to make it unique. It also allows connections to be shared in new, less intimidating ways in order to reach new audiences. And is really, at its heart, a storytelling tool. And isn't being a container for stories the whole point of a library? Thank you very much for listening. Resources, maybe Agnieszka can post them on the website, but they're just useful academic articles as well as other people's experiences on social media if you have any more specific questions. But does anybody have any questions for me now? In English or Polish, because Agnieszka can hopefully translate.
How much time do you need every week on posting?
How much time?
Yeah.
I'm not very good at at separating my personal time and my social media time. So a lot of the time, even when I come home from work, I'm sitting on my couch and typing something out for the RSA. But generally, if you sort of think of posts ahead of time and you stick to theme day posts and things like that, that you know you're going to post a marbled book on Monday, and you know you're going to post a dog on Wednesday, you can kind of either mentally make a list, or if you're making a strategy for an institution, you can write that down and say, every Monday I will, every Friday I will, and also pay attention to ongoing events and things like that. Because if there are events, you might need to spend a bit more time on social media. Anybody else? All right, well, thank you for having me, and I'm really excited to listen to everybody else. And